Alrighty, so today we are going to be talking about Mercenary Tao's banner, and more specifically, who we think is going to be on it. Now, there's a lot of possibilities. I think that they could go with this potential banner here. Just know it's obviously a Dokkan Festival exclusive, and the one that came out in May of last year was just a different case between Global and JP because of the obvious sync that we've seen and just a few other factors that go into it. It's almost impossible for me to be able to come on here and tell you who's like 100% going to be on here because, again, last year in this spot, this was the Frieza spot. So I guess it is possible that we do see Frieza on this banner for some reason. But I think that this is like one of the more unpredictable banners we've seen. Now, as you can see by the title and the thumbnail, I think that a very high possibility return here would be what's his name? Kid Goku, right? Now, is this one on here yet? Yes. Mission Execution is the category for Mercenary Tao. Now, why do I have this pulled up, you might be asking? Now, these are characters that are going to be buffing our boy Tao. I don't know why I forgot who the Dokkan Festival was there for a second, but with that being said, we have to look and see who's on the team, and I think this is going to be a very good foundation for who we can expect to be on the banner. Now, we talked about this in our discussion video a little bit the other day. That was yesterday's video. Minato and I, we discussed the possibility of AGL Ginyu getting his EZA. And I think that this is actually pretty possible, right? On Global, he is coming up on his 3rd year of being out. You guys can see almost to the day. He came out on May 31st, 2022, and I'm recording this on May 29th, 2025. So when Tao's banner drops, we'll be talking about that in a little bit. It's going to basically be a year to the day, or 3 years to the day. So it's very possible that he's going to be pretty essential on the Mercenary Tao team, and I could easily see him being a part of the banner. And I think that this would be very nice to give him like a bit of a foundation. But the issue with AGL Captain Ginyu is if he is on this banner, and if he is on this banner, that's very like soft confirmation that he's EZAing, right? It's not a guarantee, but it's like heavily implied, right? We saw Kale and Caulifla were on Hit's banner. It's like, okay, they are getting their EZA, and lo and behold, they did get their EZA. But with that being said, we need to have the sub EZAs for Jisumberter as well as Raccoon and Goldo. These are very essential EZAs for Captain Ginyu. These two banner units were like, imagine Captain Ginyu was like a sports car. These guys were like the brakes and the brake fluid, right? Like it's literally like they needed to be part of Ginyu, because calling them the engine I don't think would be fair, because obviously it would be Ginyu, but you guys kind of get the idea, right? I should have said these are the tires and these are the brakes, right? I think that makes a little bit more sense. Without them, the car just doesn't go. And so you are in a bit of an issue here, right? And I think that's where, if we do get that EZA and he's on the banner, that's a very high possibility that he is going to be on here. And I think it's pretty likely, considering this mission execution team definitely does not have a lot of premium options, right? The LR Gamas are pretty good. PyCon is very good, but not like the best in the game. And then you kind of get to this cutoff right here where you see this, like where my cursor is, and it's like, ooh, right? Especially with the LRs. But with what this leader skill is going to do, it's going to be very helpful to get Glorio onto an Earthbred Fighters team. And you guys know how good Earthbred Fighters is, and especially if you're running 2 Taos, this is going to count for the intro buff, which is going to be very helpful. So I think that is something that you have to keep in mind for the Ginyu side of things. I think it's very likely that he does end up on this banner and ends up getting his EZA. I think that would be a very logical choice for Dokkan to make, and I'm liking what I'm seeing with that. So first up, I think Ginyu is going to be on this banner. Next up, you guys can kind of see, looking at the category where my cursor is, I do believe that the Dokkan Festival Gamas 1 and 2, not the LR, are going to be on this banner as well. I don't think this is going to be an indicator that they are getting their EZA, but I do think that they're just going to be on the banner and they're going to be filler, considering the fact that, they are, on the category and they could potentially work, right? Like if you want to run a mission execution team, you can 100% get away with running 2 Taos, then you have the Gamas as well as the LR Gamas, and you can make that work. Now, is it going to be a team that's going to shred content? Absolutely not. But is it a cohesive team that could potentially work well together with a few, tweaks and stuff like that? Sure, right? I think that could easily kind of fill out the spots for a banner like this. Now, we sort of need to pull up Frieza's banner here again just to take a look at how we're going to do things. So where this gets tricky is the way that the banner format is probably going to work. Now, I would say there is a 80% chance that this banner has pity, because this is just the way that they do things now, where they are going to add an easier way for you to obtain the character, right? You toss 1,000 stones on the banner, but do not do that, right? You need to be in a very, very specific situation to be doing that. Do not summon to pity on this banner, please. But with that being said, they have changed the format with banners that have pity. So you guys can see, looking at this banner right here, you can count the SSRs on the screen. You have 7 SSRs. But if we take a minor Dokkan Fest that we've seen in years past, or in this past year or so, and then like these ones don't count because these were a major celebration, right? So I'm trying to find a Dokkan Fest that would have had pity. Where would that be? Saiyan Day, no. Dokkan Fest right here, right? So if we look at this Cell banner, what do you see? What is the difference here, right? From the Frieza banner, there were 7 featured units. On the Cell banner, there were 10 featured units. So more than likely, we are going to be seeing 10 featured units on this banner. So it's just going to be a much larger pool of characters that you could potentially be pulling. So we have to account for that. Now, I think Ginyu would be on here, and then the Gamas would be on here. And when we have Mercenary Tao as well as General Blue, we are already up to 5 right there. So we have 5 characters, and then we sort of just need to figure out who else would be on the team, right? With everything going on between those two, you already have a whole banner here with 5 characters. So now we need to look and see who else would potentially fit the mold for what we're looking for here, right? Some kind of like pack trash, if you will, or just bad characters. I think Super 17 could find his way onto this banner. The STR version, that would make 6. And then you really kind of got to dig a bit, right? I think really where I would expect them to give us characters would be if we go over here to the Dragon Ball Saga tab. And this is really where I think we could start to see some characters that they would toss in. I wouldn't be surprised one bit if this is where AGL Kid Goku makes his grand return, right? I think that's probably going to be the most noteworthy thing about this banner, unless Captain Ginyu is on it, because that indicates that he's probably going to be getting an easy A. Is it a guarantee? No, but I do think it is a heavy indicator that they are leaning in that direction of giving him that easy A. So I think that's really cool if they were to do that, but Kid Goku making his return would sort of be like the big thing about this banner, because then we have to do like a separate discussion. It's like, should you coin Kid Goku and all of these other things between him, and you guys know how good Kid Goku is for the Festival of Battles and other events where you're going to be stacking. He's even good at shorter form content. That Kid Goku is a solid unit. One of the best TURs in the game without a doubt. Now, potentially Roshi could make a rerun. It would be very similar to what we saw for the Saiyan Day banner. I would hope that wouldn't be the case, but I could definitely see it happening. And then really when you look at the Dokkan Fest, it's like you have Pat the Power Kid Goku, you have the Int Kid Goku down here, and there's just not a ton of options for Dragon Ball Dokkan Fest to find their way onto a Tao banner. So if they were to toss Goku on there, you'd be looking at what, like 6 or 7 featured characters already. So when we have, sometimes it's just like I got to go back and count it again, right? Where we have Mercenary Tao, General Blue, the Gamas, right? Ginyu, that's 5 right there. And then we would have Kid Goku, Roshi, and Pat the Power Kid Goku. That would be 8 right there. And then there would need to be potentially 2 more characters. First Form Frieza released in this slot last year, so it wouldn't shock me if he made his way onto this category, and that would be at 9. And then for 10, you would probably have somebody like Super 17. Now, that would make this banner a very easy skip. If they wanted to potentially inflate some value on here, maybe you see like another Dokkan Fest that was kind of recent, right? Where things get interesting in terms of this banner, it's like, I don't even know who you could potentially rerun here aside from Kid Goku, where it's like, oh yeah, this is enticing, right? Where this banner is just an extremely easy skip, right? Maybe Daima Vegeta makes a rerun. He came out in March, right? Cell obviously is not going to be rerunning here, I would imagine. That obviously not the anniversary LRs, right? Just kind of looking back here in recent history. Goku, if like Glorio were to find his way on here, that wouldn't be like the craziest thing ever, but he was, those guys are on the Golden Week banner. So it's like they were literally just live like a month ago, right? Maybe Buhan, but Buhan doesn't have anything to do with mission execution, right? So it's a tough spot, man. It's like, I guess maybe what you do is you rerun Roshi, you rerun Kid Goku, right? And you just kind of call it a day there, but it's a bit of a tough spot. So Let me know down below what you guys think. Again, please skip this banner. That is like, if you're going to take one thing from this video, what did Vilify say in this video? He told you to skip this banner. I'm obviously going to make a should you summon video because people like those videos and they like to have that information. But what I'll tell you if you're watching right now is there's going to be tickets that you're going to be able to get on this banner, and you could summon on with that currency for absolutely free, just for your time invested into the game. So that is obviously going to be the way that you want to handle this, and it's going to make it much easier for you. So again, let me know down below, what is your plan here? I want you to comment, hey, Vilify, I'm skipping the banner, and that's what I want to hear. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you did enjoy, and I'll see you all in the next one.